No, still says waiting. Oh, you could trigger it from screen. No, still says waiting. Oh wait, I see it. Okay, unmute it. Oh, you could trigger it from screen. No, still says waiting. Oh wait, I see it. Okay, unmute it. Oh, you could
Maybe there's
trigger
a
it
lag.
from screen. No, still says waiting. Oh wait, I see it. Okay,
Yeah,
unmute it.
that's you.
Oh, you could
Maybe there's
trigger
a
it
lag.
from screen. No, still says waiting. Oh wait, I see it. Okay,
Yeah,
unmute it.
that's you.
Oh, you could
Maybe there's
trigger
a
it
lag.
from
Wait, the LinkedIn one isn't. It isn't
no,
going.
still says waiting. Oh wait, I see it.
I
Yeah,
think you need to trigger
unmute
it
it.
from
That's you.
Restream.
Oh, you
Maybe
could
there's
trigger
a
it
lag.
from
Wait, the LinkedIn one isn't. It isn't
no,
going.
still says waiting. Oh wait, I see it.
I
Yeah,
think you need to trigger
unmute
it
it. That's
from
you.
Restream.
Oh, you
Maybe
could
there's
trigger
a
it
lag.
from
Wait, the LinkedIn one Dude, it's isn't. definitely not It me.
no,
isn't going.
still says waiting. Oh wait, I see it.
I
Yeah,
just close it
unmute it.
from
That's you.
Restream.
Oh, you
Maybe
could
Do
trigger
you
it
want me
from
to Wait, the LinkedIn
screen.
schedule the
No,
Dude, it's
still
event
says
definitely not
waiting.
me.
It isn't
Restream?
going. Oh wait, I see it.
I
Yeah,
just close it.
unmute it. That's you.
Yep. That is 100% you.
Unmute it.
Do you want me to
Wait, the LinkedIn.
schedule the
Dude, it's
event
definitely not
on
me. It isn't
Restream?
going.
Dude, you need to mute something.
I
I
think
just
you need
close
to
it.
trigger it from Restream. I
I
think
just
you need
close
to
it.
trigger it from Restream.
Bitch, I told you. Restream. Like, just do it from there. You can. Just
I just close
stream
it.
with Studio. Bitch, I told you. Restream. Like, just do it from there. You can. Just
I just close
stream
it.
with Studio. I'm gonna send you the link Bitch, I right
told
now.
you.
Restream. Like, just do it from there. You can. So, like, it's not triggering. You have to trigger it from Restream because if you trigger it from OBS, test. Wait, Eric, look at this. You have to copy and paste these credentials into OBS. Here, I'm gonna send it to you over Slack. Oops, that's not it. Okay, that's the URL, and this is the stream key. It says like, yeah, you gotta paste that in. Yeah, it says for each event. Wait, but then you have to trigger the event from Restream because now only YouTube is live.
Apply. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Please say yes.
Wait. But did you paste in the URL and the key?
Well, it's already streaming to YouTube at the moment.
I know, but it's only going to YouTube, I think.
No, I already pasted that key. I already pasted the Instagram key.
Are you sure?
Yeah, 100%. It had
We're
me do
not
it.
live
It
on
had me do it
Instagram,
pre-stream.
are we? No, we're not, right? How do you tell if you're live on Instagram?
I have no idea. Yes. Yes. Okay, let's just go. Go. We've taken too much time. Okay. Hello, everyone. Sorry for the technical difficulties. It's the first time using OBS and trying to stream it out to YouTube and other platforms too. So I think we might be on Instagram. We're definitely not on TikTok. But you know what? We're on YouTube, and that's all that matters. So today's
Yeah.
topic: ADHD and sleep. And we're gonna talk about why we chose as a topic in just a second. But first, I want to give a quick introduction and then give Khoa a chance to talk about himself. So my name is Eric Whittington. I'm probably best known for my content on social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all of the above. But what you may not know is I also do executive function coaching at a psych practice. I do marketing for a company called Reverie Lab, makers of Pocket Kado, and I just happen to be sitting with the founder of Pocket Kado right now.
That's
And
me.
I'm also working on another project it's going to be a physical product that's going to help people with ADHD that I'm really excited about, but I can't give too much information on that yet. But within a month, I will be able to start sharing more about that, and I can't wait because I think a lot of people are going to find it really useful. But, anyways, Koa, tell
Yeah,
us a
enough
little bit
about
about
you.
yourself.
I'm Koa. Uh, I'm founder of Pocket Kado, which is a sleep app, and we started working together like a while back. We bonded over the fact that we had ADHD, and I was like, ADHD and sleep are highly, I don't want to say comorbid, like intricately linked. Um, Someone says your microphone is like 5 times quieter than me,
Oh, man.
or I could just be super effing loud.
Yeah, just talk quietly, dude.
Okay,
I'll
I'll
let
do
go
like
in a minute.
ASMR. So, me and Eric met a couple months ago, and I was like, my ADHD diagnosis and sleep diagnosis were like neck and neck, and they affect each other. And if you guys know what the DSM-5 is, it's like the di something. You can
Diagnostic
like Google it.
Statistical Manual.
Yes. The DSM-4 used to include sleep as one of the um, things that you consider for diagnosing ADHD. Um, and then the treatments, for instance, like if you have sleep apnea, which I did, or narcolepsy, is a stimulant, which so happens to also be like the most widely used ADHD uh, treatment. So there's a ton of overlap, and I started this because I struggled with sleep. For those of you who don't know, when you have trouble sleeping, it's a super isolating experience. I remember going to like sleepovers and not being able to sleep, or like daycare and it's like nap time. I'll never be able to sleep. And then I was at Google and my doctor was like, why don't you do something about it? You're in tech. And I was like, you're right. So now I'm here.
So yeah, and then you did cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, which is like the gold standard in
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
therapeutical treatment for insomnia, right? And then how does
Yeah.
that tie into Pocket Kado, Koa?
Great question, Eric. Okay, so the thing I didn't know about Google is you get amazing healthcare. So I was doing all kinds of, I was getting like allergy shots. Uh, and one of the things was cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, which usually costs several $1,000s. There's less than 1,000 providers worldwide. So there was like a waiting list, like a 2-year waiting list just to get on it. Um, which if you have ADHD, I'm like, that's forever, you know? Um, but I told them to add me to the cancellation list, and luckily I got on it, and it was life changing. And when I was telling my friends and family, like, oh, you should definitely do, so CBT-i is what it's called. They're like, dude, no one's gonna take the time to get therapy sessions and like drive out and like pay thousands of dollars. So at the same time, there's a hackathon going at Google, and I was like, maybe we could like Duolingo it, like make it into an app. And that's how Pocket Kado was born. So the idea is you take care of Kado, and CBTI, you can Google it. It's a long manual, but it's kind of like obvious advice. Not a lot of people know that sleep is a 24-hour phenomenon. So like if you can't sleep, it's not just like the moment you lie down. It's what did you have for breakfast? Like, did you get sunlight first thing when you woke up? Did you reach for your phone? Did you go on a walk? Um, Wait, it says someone says the sound is so bad. Me or Eric?
I'm gonna just hold my mic like this and hope that my audio is loud enough.
Yeah, that was definitely hella loud for me.
Yeah.
Do you have the settings right or something to
No.
like
Well, clearly not. I. This is
like are
brutal,
you up
man. I
three
I should have
flat or
just I
something?
should have just streamed it directly from YouTube.
It's chill.
I think
Wait. Okay,
now it's better.
is
Okay.
he the same volume
All right.
now?
I'm just gonna
Because you're like
prop
hella loud for me
prop it on
now.
my chest. Okay. All right. We'll do it like this.
You can like hold it like a
Rolling
little
with the
bit further
punches.
away.
Hmm?
Maybe like 1 more inch away.
How about this?
Yeah, that's yeah.
Okay.
Right, guys?
Sorry, guys. Well, I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna. Well, until we figure out OBS, I'm not gonna do it this way. Next time, I'll just stream it through YouTube.
It's chill.
Because I
I
mean, if
watched
this isn't even going to Instagram, there's literally no point in using using OBS. But whatever. Okay,
I think
so Koa, let me ask you this,
yeah.
dude. So is
Yeah.
it true that when you have ADHD, you're born with a parasite nested into the part of your brain that is responsible for sleep, and it's impossible to remove it?
That's like the first time I've ever been asked that question. So points for creativity.
You can be honest.
No, I'm just like legitimately, I've just never been asked that before, ever. Um,
That's surprising.
and surprisingly, the answer is no. I know that might shock you, but it's not a parasite. You can't catch ADHD. It it's genetic partially, right? But it's not like an STD. Like if your friend has ADHD, I mean, chances are like you could also have ADHD, but like you're not gonna catch it from them, you know?
Yeah. Well. Okay. Well, that's good to know. So, okay. Um, you're probably everyone's probably wondering why we're looking at a koala on my screen. So I'm just gonna explain that real quick. So the app, the Pocket Kado app, if you guys haven't used it before, as Koa mentioned, there you have a virtual pet, and we just built this editor that allows you to go in and make custom Kados. Kados his name, and you could. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna build a few, and then we're gonna put them in the app together. And I hope we can get some suggestions from you guys on what to do, because we want to add some more to the app. And also, just FYI, this tool is available for anyone who goes to pocketkado.com. There's an editor button, you can use it. And if you create one and you download it, you'll notice that you get like a picture. And we have a Discord channel, and you can post your picture into the Discord channel. And then what we're doing is we're running competitions, and we're having people vote on them, and the best ones get added to the app. So if you don't see if you're like, how do I actually put this in the app? That's how you do it. So I'm gonna change this because I don't. It's kind of freaking me out. His like the red beard thing going on. Um, but
Yeah, so
that's
let me ask you some questions too. How do you get inspiration, Eric?
in general. How do I get inspired?
Yeah,
You know, there's a lot of people ask. Actually, before I answer that, let me just say. So this, we want to talk about sleep. We want to talk about ADHD, and we want to answer any questions that you guys have.
yeah.
Um, and so any questions at all, just throw them in the chat, and we will get to as many as we can. So how do I get inspired? So a lot of people are like people will comment on a lot of my videos and be like, dude, clearly you don't have ADHD because you post all these videos like kind of consistently. Like I could never do it.
Who
And I
is
mean,
saying
huh?
who is saying that?
Dude, you'd be surprised how many times I get that comment. Like
Okay.
all the time. People are like, there's no way you have ADHD, dude. You post these videos all the time. I can't even post. But I mean, the short of it is like it's fun to do. It's like
Yeah.
interesting and entertaining, and so it makes it easy to just do the content. And then there's also the like feedback component. Like when your
Mhm.
video does performs well, it's like, oh, awesome. You want to keep doing it, right? So it's like it's totally the opposite. Like having ADHD makes creating videos really easy. As for my inspiration, like coming up with ideas, I mean, it's just like a lot of times, a lot of times it would be like something happens in my day and like boop, I just file it away as an idea. And the longer the time before I can get in front of my phone and start filming, and
Yeah.
when that idea happens, like the less likely I'll ever do a video on it because even if I write it down, oftentimes it just goes into a void or for whatever
Yeah.
reason I no longer want to do a video on it after I've like waited a while. But yeah, I'd say that's how I find my inspiration. Just I've always really enjoyed creative things, so
Yeah.
this is an outlet for creativity, and that's it works. I can sleep pretty well, but I do get tired way earlier. Could that be ADHD? Great question.
Oh,
So, um, if we're, okay, let me caveat this by saying neither of us are doctors.
yeah.
None of this is going to be like real medical advice.
I don't know if anyone's
And
gonna be shocked by that, but yeah.
yeah, I know it's surprising, but the we do know a fair amount just in like what I do on a daily, what Khoa does on a daily. Like a lot of it involves a lot of research, so we know some stuff.
And we work with
I
doctors.
What's that?
We work with doctors like almost every
We
day.
do, yes. We do work. We have medical advisors. We work with doctors. I work at a psychiatry practice, so like we do get information from the source. So I think that the answer to that would probably be it could be related to ADHD because one phenomenon that people with ADHD experience and one of the reasons as to why so many people with ADHD have sleep problems is delayed circadian rhythm, or there's a different term for it. Delayed circadian rhythm is like the outcome of it. I can't remember the Koa, maybe you.
Like circadian phase, right?
Yeah, and so what happens is basically our circadian rhythms aren't normal. So if for
Well,
those who don't know, your circadian rhythm is just it's your internal clock, and it is um, influenced by the sun going up, sun coming down, and your body has a natural clock that responds to that. People with ADHD tend to have delayed circadian patterns. So oftentimes that can a lot of people with ADHD are night owls. They stay up really late. They wake up late. It's
yeah.
just because you're not quite aligned with what that normal rhythm is. So you getting tired way earlier in the day could totally be related to that.
Yeah. I was gonna say, well, that is true. Like, you may just have a delayed circadian phase. There are different sleep chronotypes, but I remember waking up at like 7 for school, so it was like forced, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if like I had heard some schools now start later to take that into account,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, for people with ADHD, we tend to have later rise in bedtimes, but maybe like due to school or work,
Yeah.
we have to, yeah,
Yeah,
like,
unfortunately, it's just another one of those kind of like the system is made for the majority, right? So that's neurotypical, if you will. And I mean, people with ADHD unfortunately fall into that outside of the norm there. And so where everything is structured to accommodate most people, people with ADHD, have more issues. School, work, most jobs are like 9 to 5s, right? But that's usually it's a little later than school, but still. We got some more questions coming in. So masking takes a lot of energy. How can I be more comfortable unmasking around my friends? Yeah, that's a really tough one. So I think masking and like social anxiety go hand in hand. I used to suffer from social anxiety pretty bad. I still have it, but not nearly to the degree I did. And we'll talk about a few things that I did and Koa did that kind of helped around that. But um, you know, practice in private, honestly, like that's one thing I did that helped a lot. And recording yourself on your phone, like just take a video of yourself talking. Think about like talking, having a conversation with a friend. And I don't mean for social media. I do that too. But like before I even started my social media journey, I just turn on my phone or my camera on my computer and just start talking to it, and just get comfortable doing that. And then, you know, the more you do it, the easier it sort of becomes to transition it into conversations with your friends, and then conversations with people who aren't friends. Which is I think on the spectrum of that, the scariest. One thing that I did, which I would recommend to everybody, but know that it's a really scary thing that you have to work up to, is doing improv. Ko and I both did improv, not together, but separately we did improv. And it was one of the
yeah,
absolute best things I've ever done for social anxiety and just that aspect of masking in general. And it helped immensely.
agreed. Improv was a game changer. And also, if you have to mask to stay friends, I mean,
Yeah, and but it might not even be a matter. It's not like if you unmasked, the friends would be like, "Oh, we don't want to hang out with you anymore," right? It's that irrational kind of aspect of it where it's like you
right.
can't be your natural self because there's something inside of you that's preventing it. I'm sure your friends
Yeah.
would love you, if with or without the mask. It's just like to get to that point can be challenging.
Yeah. Well, improv actually did help me with that, like realizing that there could be different sides to you, because like you try on different roles, right? And then you get out of it.
Yeah.
So like a part of French culture, someone told me, some random YouTube, I don't know if this is true. Like early on, cafe culture, you went out, you like not literally put on a mask, but like you dressed up, you know, you like have a public face, and then you go home, you take off your shoes, and you like, right? It's kind of like unmasking,
Mm,
but like more physical,
mm,
and it's part of the culture.
mm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, so yeah, if it feels like you're unmasking when you're by yourself, like that might be okay.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's a really good point because I mean, everyone masks to a degree, and it can be. I think the main thing of it is like you want to have control over it, right? You want to be able to unmask at will, and you want to be able to put on the mask at will, and that's what, yeah, that's just what that practice eventually will get you to the ability to like turn it on and turn it off when you need it. And I think like for me, one of my biggest takeaways from improv was the when I kind of short circuit that system that I have that thinks about all the things that I'm going to say before I say them and how people are going to react and whatever. I just
yeah,
went for it, right? So someone says something, you just talk. And what I found is that, oh, you know what? I actually do have enough back here in my brain after 30 some odd years of life talking and communicating and listening to people talk that I have it. I was preventing it from coming out with all of the self talk and the thinking before I spoke. So I think the biggest benefit to doing something like that, if you can bring yourself up to taking an improv class, is getting to that point where you can just talk without thinking about it. Okay, we got some more questions. I want to make sure we hit these. I stay up really late and have to wake up early, and then I'm really tired, but I always try to hide how tired I am by acting as though I have so much energy, which can be really hard. Yeah. So I mean, the sleep is just at the root of so much, right? I mean, like we can function when we're tired, but if we're well rested, we're gonna be like so much better. And I think if you can fake it, so to speak, to a degree, it's probably going to be helpful. Of course, if you can get to the root of the problem of why you're not, why your sleep isn't good, then that's going to be much better. And
Ooh,
what's that?
no, I read the next question. I want that one.
My circadian rhythm has me going to sleep at 2 a.m. and getting up really late. Is there any way for me to get my body used to going to bed earlier and waking up earlier? Koa, yeah. Why don't you take
Yeah,
that
'cause
one?
I learned this recently. You cannot force your bedtime, but you can force your wake time. So
Hmm.
the more you try to like fall asleep, the opposite will happen, right? But you can set an alarm for say like 7 a.m., right? And you can force yourself to get up and get sunlight. Sunlight is what um very distilled down. Sunlight tells your body to stop producing melatonin, which is what makes you sleepy. So it's gonna suck for however long, couple days, couple weeks, right? But if you continually wake up early, so what happens is you build sleep debt. Like your brain, highly evolved, right? If you're lacking in sleep, it's gonna want to catch up on sleep. So the first day that you force yourself to wake up early, you're gonna be super tired, and you might find that you might go to sleep earlier. But the only way to change your schedule is by changing your wake time. Like that's what you can control. The bedtime, it's hard, but it's like the really the only thing that you can do for that around that time is to wind down. So no social media, like do something boring, um, journal, like use Pocket Kado. There's a journal, like anything, but it's a 24-hour thing. And so the one thing that you can control is how you wake up. So wake up intentionally. If you want to wake up early, get sunlight. Like I just force myself to like open the window blinds and like stare out. And then try to get physical exercise. That will also help to like adjust your rhythm.
And
Uh,
I want to expand on that a little bit because it's something that I talk about all the time in my coaching, and it's coming up with strategies to make it easier to wake up early, because for me, like, waking up early is really really difficult, but there's a lot that you can do to make it easier. And I love, like, I'm all about like out of the box extreme measures on anything related to ADHD, and waking up early is definitely falls into that category. So one thing that I do, and it sounds crazy, but it works, is I take a stimulant medication. So I set my alarm if I want to wake up at like 5 a.m., and I do that a lot to get to the gym. At 4 a.m., I'll set my first alarm. I'll take my medication. I'll put on my nightstand a mixture of some coffee and protein, and I'll put that on my nightstand. And I'll also put a piece of raw ginger and a cup of water. So at 4 a.m., I'll take the my medication, and then I'll chug the protein and coffee, and then I'll go back to sleep. And then I
oh,
have an hour for the medication and the caffeine to start doing their thing, and the protein just so it doesn't wreck my stomach, with just that in it. And then when my second alarm goes off, I'll bite into the raw ginger, drink the water, like chug the water, and then just get up and do like 10 push-ups. And for a while, I was just going straight to take a cold shower, which is tough to do. That one gets easier, by the way. If you are interested in taking cold showers, like, well, interested, if you want to do it for the benefits, no one's interested in that. Then it gets easier the more you do it if you're consistent with it. But anyway, so there's a lot of crap you can do. And so another thing, light, right? Your body responds to the light. So you can get smart bulbs and have them automatically like fade in around the time where you need to wake up. Or if you want to go even crazier, this is a what do they call it? A daylight, and it's one of those lights that like it has like UV or something in it, and it's supposed to like mimic the sun. Um, get one of these. They're a little pricey, but you can get one of these and then get like a smart plug, and then have it automatically like shine in your face in the morning. Like there's all this stuff that you can do that no one really thinks about or talks about because again most people have like are able to be like, oh, wake up early, no problem, I can do that. But if you struggle with it, like get creative, try some of the strategies I just mentioned, and get creative with like how you make it easier for yourself, right? And then the easier it is for yourself, the easier it is to create a habit out of it. And once you start waking up early, it becomes easier to start getting to bed earlier.
Yeah, what if you put your phone alarm, or I'm assuming it's a phone alarm, somewhere like super far away? You're like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. That, yep. A lot of people
Yeah.
do that. Yeah. A guy I was talking to the other day says he keeps a spray bottle by his bed, and when he wakes up, he just sprays his face. I'm gonna start
Oh,
trying that. That's a good one. But
are
yeah,
you
the
serious?
phone. They literally make alarm. Have you seen these things? They're like alarms that are ball shaped, and when it goes off, it starts rolling away from you. So it'll like roll off your nightstand, and then you have to go find it to turn it off. Or like there's an app that
That'll
makes
be
you do math to turn off the alarm. Like you have to actually like get your brain going and thinking about it to actually shut it off. So, well,
the yeah. So basically, sunlight, I think, is is the easiest way, right?
yeah, but I mean, say you wake up before the sun. You know, you
Oh,
need to wake up before the sun. You know,
get a flashlight and just shine it,
dude,
or you
exactly
could buy
right.
that
Or just
big ass
have
candle
your
and
lights come
just
on. Smart bulb. You can get smart bulbs for super inexpensive now. You
yeah.
just schedule them. Yeah.
I have my Alexa wake me up with my lights and it still didn't work. I don't understand how I have full light in my room and I'm dead asleep. Well,
Yeah. Yeah, because it's
I
like it everything that you do is going to compound, right? So like just the lights aren't going to be enough, you know, but they probably help a little bit, and then the more you can add to it, the easier it's going to get. But yeah,
yeah.
and you know also lights aren't sunlight, right? This thing is closer, but it's still not sunlight, right? The what? Yeah, the water spray. I was like, I can't believe I didn't think of that. That's a brilliant idea. He was like,
So
that's yeah. Go ahead.
in addition to the sunlight, food, especially the timing, also affects
Hmm.
your circadian rhythm, which is partially, I think so. It informs how, if you have ever taken like an overnight flight, they time the meals so that you adjust easier. So if you're a shift worker, timing of the meals is one of the best things you can do to maintain your circadian rhythm. Um, Spicy food, I don't know how practical that is,
It's
but
delicious.
yeah, but like if you eat in the morning, that will train your body as well as light.
So wait, so spicy foods do what? Make it.
It wakes you up,
Oh, right. Yeah,
right? Does
yeah.
it make you sleepy?
Oh, I never thought about it. So spicy food before bed, though, bad
It's
idea.
not good. Yes, that's a bad idea. So ideally, you should not eat 3 hours before your bedtime. One, acid reflux is a real thing that will wake you up. But also, if you eat things that like take the like slow burning carbs, that helps you stay asleep longer.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're waking up in the middle of the night, no judgment, but like probably think about what you're eating right before bed. It may be affecting it.
What are some slow digesting carbs that you could recommend? And also, I thought it was acid reflux for the longest time, but
Yeah. Were
we can move
you
on
were
from that one.
you're educated in the US, right? Public school,
Yes,
like me. Yeah.
acid
Oh.
refluxes. So yeah, slow digesting carbs. What are some good slow digesting carbs you could have?
Rice, noodles. Okay, like I understand those are very stereotypical answers. Um,
No, but it's good. Yeah.
Pasta.
Pasta.
Okay. Uh, Something like that would take your body longer to digest. So, anything like fiber, those kind of things, you don't want like fast burning things.
So not
Like,
you don't want fibrous foods
what do you mean?
before bed?
No,
Like
no, you do want because
oh, you do,
fiber
you
takes
do.
a while for your body to break it down.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like
So broccoli and rice
something.
before bed.
It's like something if you eat like potato chips, right? It's greasy and your body digests it pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
Or candy.
Yeah, yeah.
Acid reflux is like super subtle too. So a lot of people don't know they have it. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if you're randomly waking up early,
Could be it.
that, yeah, that would be one of the things I would look at.
Interesting. Interesting. I don't have my phone in my room at night to keep away distractions, but I could move my clock away from my bed. But I'm a deep sleeper, so last time I did that, I slept with the 4 alarms. Yeah, right. So it's all yeah. It's just like making adjustments and figuring out what works. I mean, you could get a new alarm that's just like loud as hell. Just like yeah. I had an idea for an app a long time ago, and I realized it was a terrible idea. But it was like um, to sh- to shut it off, you had to yell at it like at a certain volume, and then like if you snoozed,
You
when the next
serious?
alarm would go off, it would just yell, but it would take your yell and yell back at you. I don't know what I don't know.
Wait,
It's not a good idea, but huh?
that's hilarious and not a bad idea, honestly.
Well, it's also not a good idea. Not
You're
not
telling
gonna. Well,
me,
as an app builder, I don't think that's gonna get. I don't think that's gonna get traction.
no, as an app builder, it's like you don't know what will work and what doesn't. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
like random stuff takes off. Something like that could just be funny, right?
Yeah. 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 That's true. I mean, it could. Yeah. Could be funny enough to people will use it a few times. They'll at least download it. I spelled anti-disestablishmentarianism correctly
Oh
today,
wait,
and it made me so happy.
wait. The only downfall to this app is that I have YouTube Premium, so I can turn off the screen while listening to comments. I'm just like, no, no, no. You can, or it's a bug. But I'm pretty sure because we just talked about this. I think you have to disable background audio, which is currently just a checkbox when you put Kado to sleep. Maybe that means we need to make it more obvious, but
Mm.
you can have music playing from other apps. You just have to disable the music playing in the background.
Wait, you can?
I'm
Okay.
like, I'm so curious. Like, I'm gonna change the time on my phone right now.
If you can't do it today, you will be able to do it very
No,
soon.
I'm like, for sure you
What?
can do it. Otherwise, it's a bug.
One thing about Koa here is he is a very talented uh, developer engineer on top of being CEO. And I've worked for tech companies in the past, and it's always been like when you need anything done, it just takes forever. Koa is able to crank things out in like a matter of hours that I've seen Dev's team take like months to do. So all of that to say is that if that's not gonna, if
It's
that,
just
yeah,
so uncheck continue playing music in the background. Dude, I think we need to make it more obvious.
yeah, I think so too. Yep.
I'm like,
Yeah, clearly. I mean,
that.
people aren't finding it. So
It's like, are you sure enabling this will pause music from other apps?
yeah.
But
Okay.
oh no. I'm like, I wonder how many other people.
I want my summer cicadas. Cicadas help you sleep, dude. Cicadas drive me insane.
Should we just make it not continue playing in the background by default? I think that might make things easier. So then you have, and this checkbox is really small, right?
yeah.
We just put it like right in the middle. No?
Y- yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, like super prominent, right?
Like that doesn't even look like a button, I think. That's a problem. Aw. Thank you, Snow Eris, for bringing that up. Okay. Yeah, I'm literally gonna tell. I'm gonna make a ticket for that.
Nice, 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 nice. Um, cool. So, what are some other ways in which ADHD can
Also, you didn't
affect?
design the Kado brush at all.
Dude, I totally even though he's right in front of me, I forgot he was here. All right, I'm gonna start going on this so we can. Um, we have a quota. We don't, but
Just need, you said like several, right? We should just do,
yeah, it's gonna be hard. If this turns out bad, it's because I can't focus on talking and
oh,
doing this at the same time. Um,
oh,
literally downloaded Pocket Kado yesterday. Very nice, and yeah, like so. We care a lot about like the feedback. You know, we want to make the app as good as it could be. So if you guys have any suggestions after using it, um, reach out to us. The Discord, you know, we got that Discord. Hop in there, and we'll, like I said, Koa's able to. He's able to code like a madman, and
I'm like, the second you mention it to me, I will already be working on it.
yeah. So you should take that as a challenge and just unload a million ideas on him, and he'll make it happen without question, right, Koa?
Yep. All right, what's the inspiration for this brush that you're making here?
I don't know, but I'm gonna change it because I don't know. Okay, well, yeah, all right. So what kind of kado should we do? What would be relevant for this time of year or
It's Pride Month.
Pride?
We do have rainbow one already though.
We do.
Um, oh, I told my therapist about it. Oh, thank you. Um, make another rainbow one, I guess.
Okay. What do we start? What's the top? What's the end of a rainbow? What color is at the end of the rainbow?
Isn't it the Roji bib thing?
Huh?
I don't know. But isn't it, there's some order, right? Like Roji bib.
There definitely is. I've got so I do like sometimes I use these squishy blocks in my videos, and like I'll line them up sometimes, and they're multicolor, and inevitably people are like, "I'm so pissed off that you didn't make it in like the order of a rainbow."
Dang, people are mean to
You know
you.
what? They surprisingly being on social media talking about ADHD. You know, people have a lot of opinions about it, especially people without ADHD. You're like, oh, it's not real.
Oh yeah,
I
that's the thing.
haven't
Roji
like
bib.
had a lot of like truly mean um, people. You know, like obviously there's always going to be some the trolls, the a holes, but I haven't had a lot of like really truly mean people. Starting with orange is dumb, right? That's definitely not the okay. That's definitely not
Wait,
the
someone,
start.
Snow Air said Roji bib.
Oh. Re- okay, red. So I was close.
I was like, what do you think I said when I said Roji bib? Like just some random word?
I thought you were having a stroke. All right, let's.
All right. What all can you do with Kato? Another lantern sitting on trip and feeding and changing the colors, anything else? I mean, that's really okay, like the whole meta concept to explain it, it is supposed to mirror your life. Like when he's out on adventure, you're probably at work or out doing your own thing. Um, we could add more stuff to do in the app, but it's meant to kind of just be like a buddy to you, help you like maintain good habits. Um, I think intentionally we try to keep it minimal. Like there are so many other apps if you did want to go to be entertained, but for Pocket Kado, it's like I wanted it to be like a safe haven, if that makes sense.
Well, wasn't one of the visions you had behind the app. It was almost like an anti-app, in that like it a problem that we all
Clothing.
have is getting stuck on our phone. Um, like all day, every day, at night. Isn't one of the like ideas behind it? It's less.
Yeah.
It encourages you. It's an app that also encourages you to spend a little less time on your phone.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, she said clothing. Yeah. But we did up clothing. It became a whole thing to like update clothing. So I can give you the long answer if you're curious, but it became really heavy for people with older devices to be able to load all of those. And so we thought the colors would be more accessible and allow for more creativity too. But um, but yeah, clothing, I think we're still gonna work on. It's just it's like it lends to a heavier app. So like um yeah, like ideally anyone, no matter like how when you purchase your phone or like how powerful it is, should be able to use the app.
Yes. I want to answer this question. I just joined. Hi, what is this, please? So, we are talking about sleep and ADHD because they're very much related. Actually, a crazy stat is like up to 80% of adults with ADHD also have some sort of sleep, I think, disorder, insomnia, whatever. Um, and they're very closely related. So we wanted to hop on a live. Koa here is our resident sleep expert, though.
Am I
You
up
know,
there? Oh,
you are for me. I don't.
okay.
I think you are for the. Um, and yeah, so we're chatting through it, and then also here, this koala is Kado, and he's the pet that lives in the app that Koa created, and that app is an app that helps you sleep. It uses CBT-i, which is cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, and also you take care of a virtual pet. So
She's
it's
like, she's like, okay, I
she's like, all right,
didn't.
man.
She's like, all right,
So it yeah it
like,
helps you with something that no one really wants to work. Like no one, everyone wants to sleep better, but no one really wants to like do the things that you need to do to sleep better, like getting off your phone at night, right? Like no one wants to do that. But so the app makes it easier to do that in a way that isn't that doesn't suck. You know, it makes it enjoyable and fun, and that's the goal at least. So and this guy, I'm building a kata right now in the designer to add to the app. So there are quote unquote rare kados that you can get, and everyone who's on this stream, we're gonna give codes out to you guys so you can get these specific kados. And yeah, I think that's everything. I hope that didn't scare you away. I can see that
all
being.
right, just message me.
Thank you, and yes, I struggle with sleep. Yeah, yeah, most of us do. You know, rare. I work with a lot of people with ADHD, and every once in a while, someone's like, "Oh yeah, I sleep like a rock. Like sleep isn't an issue." And I'm so envious, so envious, because I feel like, and Koa, let me know
Hmm.
what you think about this. I feel like sleep is just another one of those things that like you constantly it requires active, constant effort to sustain. And
Yeah,
I think you can say that about ADHD management as a whole. Like
right,
it doesn't matter what
right.
it is; it always requires effort. I like to
Yeah,
describe the difference between people with ADHD and people without is like people without. Um, these are assumptions because I can't put my head into the brain of a neurotypical person, but my assumption is that there are a lot of things that just happen automatically. There's a lot of like, you know, waking up and brushing your teeth and like showering, like all these things, like you don't have to think about them. With
mhm.
ADHD, there's so much that you have to consciously think about, and not only that, you have to, if you want to manage your ADHD effectively, you have to put systems in place that make it easy to do those things, and not requiring like a lot of mental energy to kind of carry them out. And that's where
Yeah,
like a lot of I see a lot of people with ADHD struggling is like it's like okay, I did this thing for a week and it worked really well, but I couldn't stick with it. So there are two components. There's like the stuff that works, like making to-do lists, using calendars, like that works, and it's worked for a lot of people who struggle with all that kind of stuff, but then they fall off. The other part of it that isn't worked on or talked about as much is like the what you need to do to make that something that's totally frictionless and
Yeah.
easy to the degree where it's not you it's not easy to let it fall off, or when inevitably you do fall off, you have something in place that gets you back to it, and
Yeah.
that's the hard part.
I relate to that.
Possible. It's all totally possible, but it is, you know, it requires a lot of
I
figuring
mean,
out.
it's like, think of how many people are working against you, right? Like,
Nine,
it,
nine, nine people.
it's like the could be your schedule, could
Yeah.
be like responsibilities to your family. Like, there's so many things. Plus, with modern technology, like something that Dr. Fiona Barwick, who we work with and is an advisor, amazing person, she said you have to protect your sleep. And that changed
Mm.
my thinking because I was like, yeah, sleep should be something that you don't think about, right? But nowadays, it's under attack by so many things. Like, if you don't protect it, if you don't leave a party at a certain time or tell your friends, like I need to go to bed, or like purposely make time to wind down and create a good sleeping environment, what will happen is your sleep will suffer. So, yeah, it's like it sucks that we have to do this, but it's something that like you have to protect.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Protecting your sleep. Yeah. Yeah. Oops. Um, I hear it's really hard work trying to get an ADHD diagnosis under NHS. Make sure that you go into your appointment prepared to advocate for yourself rigorously. Yeah, you know, some of it has to do with your doctor, which um, if you really like are you really feel that you have ADHD, and you feel like your doctor is maybe being dismissive of it, like, you know, get another opinion. Go to a different psychiatrist, or a lot. There are general practitioners who can diagnose ADHD, but if that's who you're talking to and they're kind of like being dismissive, it'd be like, can I get a referral to a psych and talk to them about it? And then you can get multiple opinions from multiple sides. I mean, it sucks to go through that process, but I've been, for me, I've never had an experience with a bad. I mean, I have a long history with ADHD. I was diagnosed really young, but I went a long period of time without needing to talk to a doctor about it. Like, I wasn't taking medication or anything. And then I got to a point where I just needed it because I had too much going on and I couldn't manage everything. And going through that process was like, you know, no one questioned it or anything. I think there's an aspect of it where people are afraid that they're gonna get, you know, rejected and be like, oh, they're gonna think I'm just trying to get like drugs, you know, or like
Yeah.
when you go to the pharmacy, oh, they're just gonna think I'm like a, you know, a user or an addict or whatever, just trying to get like drugs. But yeah, I mean, just best thing you could do is talk about your experience, like what's going on, and I mean, there's also a chance that you know you can think that you have ADHD because you know, you saw some stuff on social media that aligned with you, but it doesn't. It's not always ADHD, right? Like, there's a lot of most of the symptoms that I talk about in my videos relate to executive dysfunction, which is something that everyone with ADHD experiences. But you can have executive dysfunction and not have ADHD. There are other things that can cause it, you know, like depression, for example. Like a lot of times, this happens with women in particular. They get misdiagnosed with depression and anxiety instead of ADHD, whereas ADHD is the root cause, and addressing the ADHD takes care of the other things.
Yeah.
But it can also work in the opposite direction. You could have depression and anxiety, and they're creating ADHD-like symptoms, but treating the ADHD in that case won't really get to the root of the problem, whereas treating the anxiety and depression could get to the root of the problem. So all of that is to say that the best thing you can do is talk thoroughly about your experience to get to the root of the problem with someone who you feel like is listening to you. Because if you feel like they're dismissing you, not taking you seriously, whatever, just go to a different doctor. It's not worth your time. It's not worth the headache. But if you find one that you're comfortable with, just just talk about your experience, and you'll get accurately diagnosed with ADHD or something else.
So just brought up in case of NHS in UK, it might be hard to get, a second opinion.
Oh, okay.
So if it is like that you have to work with that specific doctor, you should look at the DSM-5, the diagnosis criteria, and just stick to it. Just go off of it and see which one align and just stick to that. They're going to do a differential diagnosis, so they'll also ask you questions about bipolar and other things. And in my experience, it's just because ADHD is more studied in men, and inattentive ADHD is pretty hard to diagnose. Knowing that they're diagnosing you off of the DSM-5 criteria, just kind of stick to it, and then ask, oh, if you don't believe it's ADHD, what would be the differentiating symptoms? And then suggest a trial of medication, which is kind of how psychiatry works, really. The same person can respond really differently to the same medication. And if that psychiatrist is not willing to even let you do a trial to see how you feel, be like, I want that documented. There has to be some way of working with them. They're not conspiring against you. It's just the system that they're operating in, right? You just gotta see what are the incentives. It's probably easy to prescribe an antidepressant, and we know that stimulants get abused, and that there's a shortage of it. There's startups that were just handing out stimulant prescriptions, so it's going to be harder to get an ADHD diagnosis. So knowing that, we can just adjust our own behavior. So that would be my advice: is be insistent if you have to work with that doctor. The research is still catching up, right? But some of the symptoms are before the age of 12 for some reason, right? The symptoms have to show up before then. So say, yeah, I did notice this before the age of 12. And a lot of the measurement or diagnoses methods are being debunked now. As I remember a couple of years ago, they made me play a computer game. And I think I'm just good at games or something. I did really good. And so she was like, you don't have ADHD. Then she also interviewed, so it was someone that lives with you. So she talked to my brother, and my brother friggin' has ADHD too. So he thought all my behaviors were normal. So all of that, now there's research showing that that's not an accurate way to diagnose. But back then, yeah, it was a computer game, and they talked to someone who lived with you, who chances are will be a family member, and ADHD is highly genetic. So it's not you, getting a diagnosis is hard.
Yep. You want to hear something messed up? So the research is still coming in, and there's a process of the research happening, and then that information getting disseminated, and doctors not being stuck in their old ways and whatnot. But we've come a long way. ADHD, at one point, it was referred to as I think it was minimal brain disorder or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and so anyways, we've come a long way,
Yeah.
and I mean, there's still so much we don't know about ADHD, and just to tie it into one of these questions that someone wrote in, just clarifying question: the only way of having ADHD is being born with it, right? Like, so there's a lot we don't know about it. There's some stuff we do know about it. They've done brain scans to see the activity different in ADHD and a non-ADHD brain. We know the prefrontal cortex develops more slowly, but it is something that it's neurodevelopmental. So when you're
Developmental. Yeah.
when you're a baby, you don't have ADHD, right? But when you start developing those executive functions at ages 4 to 6, I think, or 3 to at those age, that's when signs can first start to show because the development in those areas is a little bit slower, and that persists until you're. The reason why it was thought that ADHD only affected children back in the day is because you do get to a point that those functions develop slower, and then when you get to a certain age, like 25 years old, it catches up, right? But you still have the symptoms, right? Like a lot of the times you saw the symptoms, it was thought that it kind of stops there, but that's not actually the case. We know that now. But yeah, it's something that it's often hereditary. I think it's like if actually I'm not gonna cite the statistic because I can't remember it, but it's a very high percent chance if you're one of your parents has ADHD, there's a high chance that you have it. And pretty much everyone I talk to who has ADHD is like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure my mom has ADHD. I'm pretty sure my dad has ADHD. But not diagnosed because it was a different era, different generation. My mom for sure has it, and she also happens to have narcolepsy, so she takes modafinil, which is a stimulant medication prescribed for narcolepsy, but it also treats ADHD. So I think she got the benefit of also being treated for her ADHD, just not directly. Um,
Yeah. And
my brother was. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Koa.
no, I'm just reading some of the comments. The gender thing,
Yeah.
like the one sad thing I see happen, especially with my niece. Okay, like that, she's probably gonna have ADHD. But like for girls, it's like it it's hard to diagnose because then it becomes part of like their personality or like
Oh,
their identity of self.
what's that? Neurodeterminism, I think it's called. So that's a really interesting topic. Yeah. So it's like when you get diagnosed with ADHD, do you then exhibit the behaviors more strongly? And it's kind of like that's a really big question. But
Well, I was
um,
gonna say, like some people have ADHD and probably develop like extremely complex systems to overcome it, right?
yeah,
And like one of those things is like having really negative self-talk,
yeah,
um, which I had. Like I performed well in school because I'd in my head be like, "You're so stupid! Like get up, like do it." Um, so finding out that ADHD later in life, it was shocking. And then now I'm doing the work of decoupling, like what's me and what's ADHD.
yeah,
Like, yeah, like I've lost friends because I forgot to text back, and that was literally just because like I responded in my head and I just forgot.
yeah,
But then they were like, "No, you ghosted me, you ignored me," or I'm late to things all the time that I'm still struggling with. I will schedule things like an hour before and like kind of set my clocks in advance. But it's like, yeah, the worst thing is for these things to influence how you think of yourself. Like it's, yeah,
yeah. That's really interesting about the like getting diagnosed later in life like that I don't have that experience because I was diagnosed really young. I always knew I had ADHD, so it's interesting for me to see people have all these revelations, and like, holy shit, like my whole life, it explains so much, and it's like such a powerful moment, and it's really it's cool to see from my perspective, and um, yeah. Uh, your video shares my mindset in a very very positive way. That's awesome to hear. That's amazing. I man, getting feedback like that is super powerful for me because
Oh,
when I started making these videos almost 3 years ago now, little over two. I don't know. I feel like I've been saying a year and a half for like ever, but I feel like it's actually probably closer to 3 years. But I don't know because time, right? But yeah, I started doing. I didn't think they were gonna become, what they did. Now it's they're um, I
yeah.
care about the awareness aspect of it, and from multiple angles. I care about people with ADHD realizing, some of the why some of these behaviors are happening, because truly that is like at the core of finding solutions for it. And then I also care about people who don't have ADHD kind of going through that discovery process, right? And figuring out that, oh, maybe I do, and then taking the steps needed to get a diagnosis if they do have ADHD. And then the final one, that's the harder one, but is like trying to make my videos entertaining such that if you don't have ADHD, you'd still be interested in watching them, because that one is super important just from a the more people understand ADHD, the better our time as ADHDers is going to be, right? Because like if you don't understand ADHD, it's really easy to dismiss a lot of the behaviors as like
Yeah.
you know usually problems that other people are projecting, right? So like if I'm if I have a hard time getting to work on time, maybe that's something that this other person um, doesn't doesn't do. They did one time, they got in a lot of trouble for it, and they see it happening with this person, and like there's no excuse for that, like you need to change that behavior, it's a problem. And there not being a willingness to understand more about it. Not to say that being late is excusable, because it's not. It's just important to figure out ways to not be late. But there's a lot of aspects of ADHD that are sort of like that, where it's like they see it as a problem that they're kind of projecting onto you, and then they're not willing to listen to anything else about it. So my hope is that in more people without ADHD see my videos, that it's there's a greater understanding of it, and
Yeah.
ultimately it makes life easier for everybody. Um, let's
No.
see, PMDD is really common in
Oh,
AFAB
speaking of time,
ADHDers.
we are getting up to time,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah, I guess so. Do you want to take it to 3:30?
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
We were figuring out how to do the we I mean we need to work on that,
Oh my god,
later.
I wish I had a guy just to help me with this. You know, just like, oh yeah, I set everything up for you.
I mean, I don't
I feel like
know.
if
I
I
feel
was
like I told you to start it on Restream, but
no, I mean like
I was like, who could have saw this happening?
an intern. I need an intern. I'm not nearly at a point where I deserve an intern, but I would love one. Um,
It's
what's
chill. We're
what's
all figuring this out. No one's born knowing how to live stream simultaneously on all these platforms.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. What's AFAB? PMDD. That's I know what that is. It's really common in AFAB ADHDers. What's AFAB?
I'm gonna Google it right now.
Um, hormone cycle causes a drop in dopamine and makes everything worse for
People
ADHD. Yeah.
assigned female at birth.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. I know that. I know that. Hormone cycles are. It's like
Who just
it's like
commented?
so this might be a sort of a rough analogy, but it's like when you don't get enough sleep, your symptoms are worse. Anything that disrupts your natural hormones, or that is natural, but anything that disrupts your hormones is going to make ADHD worse, whether it's you know um, um, sleep or anxiety, or if it's the your cycle, right? Like it all affects it. Um, if only we could view time
No,
like a progress
no,
bar versus a
no,
static number. That's really interesting that you say that. Um,
no.
yeah, that's so that may have something to do with something that something that we're working on, but you'll have to stay tuned for that one. But I agree. So looking at whether it be a clock or a
Well,
calendar or anything that's
anything,
time, when it's
anything. Yeah.
when it's represented in a linear way, it just makes it easier because we just don't have that.
Oof.
We don't have that. I don't know. That ability to our relationship with time is just not. It's not, again, going back to that automatic versus non-automatic. Like, I think that people without ADHD are able to see the time and then have the context around it. In their head, they're seeing time in a linear way, right? But we don't have the ability really to do that, so we need something physical to make that happen. When I work with my clients, one thing that I pretty much do for everybody is make a calendar, like a linear calendar, and then put everything on that, because it's so much easier to visualize and conceptualize than putting it on like a physical calendar. I thought I had one right here, or like a Google Calendar or anything like that. It's just not conducive to how we think about time, or are able to think about time. Um,
Agreed. Agreed.
yeah. Um, let's see. Sensor you're dealing with. Yeah. I. Yeah. So much is connected, right? Like, there are so many like factors that influence ADHD, and it's like it really does feel like, if you're not kind of like, if everything's not perfect, if your diet isn't perfect, if your exercise isn't perfect, if your sleep isn't perfect, then you have a hard time, and it's unfortunate. But again, back to one of my recurring um, themes is it's all about figuring out how to make it easy for you, right? Like externalize it. Stop
Mm.
trying to keep do everything in your brain like it's having, it's struggling. Externalize it, and then make that, whatever the thing that you've externalized for whatever problem you're trying to solve, make it very like frictionless and easy and seamless. And once you start kind of like approaching ADHD management from that perspective, it makes a big difference, and it's easy to see it's easy to apply something that you've developed for one area of your life to other areas of your life. Um, what's that one good looking painting over
I
there?
was I was gonna draw paint a Kado while you do your thing, and then we compare. But like
Well, mine's done. I'm just kidding. This
yours
is done.
done.
This was supposed to be a rainbow, but I kind of only got to the ears. Um, yeah.
Okay.
So let me see your Kado, Koa.
Hold on.
So his name is Koa, and his app is Pocket Kado.
That
And
was pure coincidence.
my
Ka-
wife, for a while, was just calling him Coda, just because she couldn't get it. She couldn't like. She was calling the koala Coda and Koa Coda. Hey guys, I'm 62 years old, never diagnosed form with ADHD but bipolar. I usually joke that about being ADHD. After watching your video, I'm convinced it's ADHD and getting worse. Dementia or ADHD? Dementia or ADHD? Yeah, I don't. I can't answer that. I can't say if it's getting worse. it's totally possible that there are other factors that are contributing to making the ADHD symptoms worse. But that would that's out of my area of expertise. Um, I will say that though, like dementia and I to be honest with you, I'm 30. How old am I? 32, 30, 33. I had to look at it's 2024. So. To be honest with you, I've thought to myself, like, do I have like early onset Alzheimer's? But
You thought that?
huh?
You thought that?
Yeah, I've legitimately thought that at times, but making some changes, external changes to things have kind of like helped it. So I think that well, to answer your question, I don't know. I guess it could be ADHD, but definitely something you'd want to talk to your doctor about. Not sure you get meds for. So, oh yeah, yeah. I should need a psychiatrist to prescribe. Yeah. That is also a really overlooked as non-stimulant medication, but there's some preliminary
All
research
right,
that
well,
indicate it has
conceptually I'm
effects on
done.
methylphenidate. That's interesting. I'll have to look into that. Oh, there we go. Can we capture that and put it into the app as is?
I'm gonna like, yeah, 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 yeah.
Perfect.
The inspiration for this was um empty, thank you, and natural watercolors, like earthy, oceany, mountainy, moss, sea foam.
It's inspired.
It
It's
is, right?
some of your best work.
Thanks. Yours is also really beautiful. Oh, Pocket Kado is an app to help you sleep. And you take care of this adorable koala by being off your phone.
So Khoa here is the founder. He built the app, and I work with him too. And we thought it would be fun to have this builder up, and we could design Kados that are actually going into the app. But I've been having a hard time, kind of like having a conversation and designing a Kados is what I came up with, which is
No, no, it looks great.
let's make him. There we go. When he moves, it really ties the vision together.
Yeah,
Um,
Pocket Kado is a sleep app,
yeah.
and sleep is a 24-hour phenomenon. You build up a bunch of habits that help you have better sleep hygiene.
I've been awake for 28 hours. Why? That's too much.
Where did the name Kado come from? It means gateway in Japanese. So Kado is like a gateway to better sleep.
It also means things in other languages. So, do you remember
Oh
what
yeah,
that guy said it meant in French? It was something like strange.
Kado. It means gift.
Gift. Oh, that's pocket. Oh yeah, pocket gift sounds kind of weird. But yeah.
Yeah.
Um, just to give you the as a start, you should see gateway to Z's. That's right.
Oh
Gateway
wait,
to.
if you put the call to bed, will it messing up? No, if you uncheck this effing
After this call, Ko's gonna
um
make this
yeah,
more obvious in the app.
yeah. Um no, I like thank you for okay, so when you put him to bed, the music icon, there's a check. This is the checkbox. I think is checked by default, and I am going to make it not checked by default.
Well, why are you awake for 24 hours or 28 hours? That's a long time. Did you just not? You just didn't go to sleep? You just like stayed up doing stuff, or that's a long time. I can't remember the last time I stayed up that long. Oh wait a second, 28 hours. That's a long time. So much of walking around in circles looking for something. I just had my hand. Oh, I think about that often. Just like if I'm doing a project, if I'm building something, I like to build stuff. If I'm building something, I feel like half the time it takes me to do anything is just like going back to my workbench and like grabbing a ruler or a pencil, or like putting a saw down, going somewhere, and then like losing it and spending like 20 minutes finding it. I wish there was a way to like record that, like monitor that, and just get like the data on how much time I actually spent doing something versus how much time I spent looking for stuff and losing stuff.
Yeah, it'd be great to have some sort of like physical way to do that.
Well, I mean, when I'm doing something, I like to be like logging. Spent 10 minutes looking for saw.
I'm making the ticket right now for the music issue. If two people brought it up, I'm like,
Yeah. What else, guys? Give Koa all your suggestions, and he'll do it. 100% commitment. It'll be done in a week.
joy filled.
Whatever you want. I have fibromyalgia, insomnia, ADHD, finally diagnosed, fatigue. I can't promise to use it consistently, but I can try it in waves. Yeah, give it a shot, and hopefully it helps. I think one of the aspects of ADHD that I hate the most is the fatigue. Whether it be just like sleep inertia after waking up, or just like getting tired earlier in the day. Obviously, it all at the root of all of that is just getting the sleep at night figured out. If you can consistently go to bed at a certain time, wake up at a certain time, it makes everything else better. But like, yeah, just I hate being tired. When I'm tired, when I'm feeling groggy, just all the symptoms are so much worse.
Yeah.
How do you get new ideas for videos? So nowadays it's literally just like stuff that happens. That um, stuff that I'll do will just make me think of a video. And there was a time where I would just look at like the DSM at symptoms of ADHD or like executive dysfunction, and then just like think about my experiences relating to those, and then just do videos off of them. I try to make a point with most of my video, like all the skits, which is like 98% of my content. I just do it from it's a personal experience. And on that note, I don't like to if I don't experience it, I don't like to do a video about it, even if it relates to ADHD. That's one of the reasons why I don't touch on ADHD in women very often at all, because I don't have that experience. It's not a personal experience. So I don't like it. Same with autism. Like, people ask me all the time, because the comorbidity between ADHD and autism is so high. So a lot of my followers have autism, and they ask, "Look, can you do some on autism?" And no, like I don't feel comfortable doing that, because I can't speak from experience. I know about it, but it just, my videos wouldn't be
Right.
not being able to speak from
Authentic.
experience is a big deal for me. Not to say
Respect.
that awareness around autism or ADHD in women is I mean, that's just as important, right? It's just I just don't, the way I create content, I don't feel comfortable not speaking from experience on it. The last thing I would want to do is misrepresent it. Try chocolate milk, not a lot. Some a bunch of tips for using them is tough. How do you successfully hack forgetfulness? Yeah, I mean, I would say that I mean, I can't give you one big answer that solves it, but I think just like looking at specific areas of your life where forgetfulness is a more of a problem, and then just start thinking about outside of the box solutions to it. I just a basic one is if you're losing your keys or wallet, get air tags or get little like one thing that I've been meaning to get. I'm sure it exists, but I just want to get like a little device that I can put on, like a really small thing that I can put on my keys or whatever thing that I have a tendency to misplace, and then have another device that I can click and then just make it beep.
Those
You know what I mean?
That's an AirTag
Oh,
feature.
AirTags do that.
But also you can get on Amazon like once. But you're probably gonna lose the clicker.
I'll tape it to like my monitor or something. You know?
Well, I'm sure there's an Android alternative to AirTags.
Yeah, tiles.
Yeah,
There's,
yeah,
but
Tile,
I don't think
right?
they beep. I had one. I don't think it beeps.
They have to beep.
Does it beep?
Well, my AirTag beeps, and I'm like, they have to
Mm,
beep.
Magnesium glycinate knocks me out 20 minutes. Also a good sleep routine. So using a J-shaped pillow keeps me asleep all night. That's awesome.
Oh,
I
yeah.
Magnesium glycinate. So my wife takes that, and yeah, I don't know much about it, but I've heard that's a good one. That can help with sleep and other stuff. Um, and ADHD is such a weird combination to have. It's like having a constant battle between. That's what I hear all the time. Yeah, people who have autism and ADHD. It's like there's a lot of conflicting symptoms. Like
Mm.
you'll have a tendency to do one thing, and then an ADHD tendency, and then it's like the way that you then behave is like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example. Someone give me a good one. The other it'll come to me.
My TikTok algorithm is like convinced I have autism.
Yeah.
I'm like getting all the ADHD content, and I'm like, do I? But I don't think I do.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
I
guess I
can't.
wouldn't.
I don't know. I can't answer that, Koa. I can't tell you.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
says ideas not doing anything
oh,
about them.
we are at 3:31
Okay, yeah,
though.
yeah. We should call. I could keep doing this forever, but we shouldn't. All right. Well, thank you everybody who attended.
Yeah.
We want to do this more regularly. I want to do this more regularly. I want to talk to you guys more often. On social media, it's tough to have engaged interactions like this. So this is
This is
pretty
fun.
pretty fun for me. Yeah, and so yeah, real quick, just the Pocket Kado thing. Yeah, co-founder here for anyone who's new. He built this app, helps with sleep using cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, and you take care of a virtual pet, so it doesn't feel like work. It's just a fun little guy that you take care of, and your sleep gets better, and that's it.
Yeah.
But the
I'd be down
yeah
to do this again. We need to figure out, you know, the whole setup.
yeah this is I promise you guys the next one is gonna look and sound better.
It's gonna be hilarious too. We're gonna prepare so hard.
We are, we are, and it will be good. Thank you guys. Last thing, if anyone hasn't joined our Discord, Broken Clocks Club, definitely check it out. It's ADHD Discord. We have some Pocket Kado stuff that we talk about there as well, and sleep related stuff that we have there. And that new project that I mentioned that we're going to be firing up really soon. We're going to be talking about that for the Discord, and I don't know, probably maybe we'll do like
Mhm.
special little deals or something for Discord member. I don't know,
They're gonna
something
say
like
special guest.
special guest. Oh yeah, we will bring that guy along as well. And
Yes.
yeah, so we'll have more stuff around that. But um, what is Discord? Discord is just like a I could show you.
I'm like trying to open it to
It's
get the
this. It's
download
just like a
it.
big chat thing, and we have different channels. We've got ADHD stuff, sleep stuff, and it's fun. Just it's a community of ADHDers and good people, and yeah, like a chat room exactly. And it's just it's a great way to like actually interact. You know, we can actually have a conversation instead of you know, the social media thing is it's more difficult. So cool. All right, I will stop rambling on and call it. Thank you guys again so much, and we will see you in the next one.